Okay, so our top 4 stories today include the Senate taking another run at ending encryption, leaked Microsoft document hints at second next-gen Xbox, Amazon acquiring self-driving car startup Zoox, and Google's Pixel 4a could be nearly ready, but won't have radar technology. Oh, one more thing. We're on YouTube. This is down out digital world, and let's get started. So let's get started with today's smallest story, that probably won't even take us above the 1 minute mark, hopefully. We're on YouTube. As of the time of this recording being released, we have every single episode released on YouTube. I have had my computer just uploading videos since last night at about 10 o'clock when I released last night's episode. It's just been completely rendering the videos because there is a bit of rendering process involved. And then once they're rendered, it has then had to then transfer them onto the YouTube platform. So there is a reason that some of the news is going to be from multiple hours ago today. That's just due to timing of my recording, as it's now 7:30 here in the UK, PM, 7:30 PM. Now, as for what you can expect when you go onto the YouTube channel, there will be a link in the description. At the same time that this video today releases, so probably about 10 o'clock, the videos will all be being released onto YouTube at the same time, and every single video will be on there. Every single one, from episode 1 all the way up to today's episode, including all the special episodes. Now, I do have one thing to say: they will not be in the same order as when they were originally uploaded. There is reasoning for this, and the reasoning for this is very simple. When recording and putting these onto the podcast, it automatically sorts out the times. Now, whilst, yes, I could technically figure out a way, it would mean staggering the launch times over multiple hours for that to work properly. So I have merely decided that instead of it will just release them all at the same time. They won't be in the same order. However, I will, once they have all been published, at 10 o'clock tonight. After that, I will stay up for a bit later, and I'll create a playlist with them all in order. So if you want to listen to podcast episodes in order, episode 1 down to episode, what are we on, 15, plus all bonus episodes, that will be in a specific playlist with a specific running order. So that will be there. I do also want to say that I will also be releasing, if the order is too jumbled, so it's like episode 1 here, then episode 3, 4, 5, and then episode 2. If that sort of thing does happen, I will redo the way that they are being released. So instead of having them all coming out at 10 o'clock, I will just merely change their visibility. So about 2 or 3 come out every 5 minutes, and hope that fixes the issue. So I'm not going to completely leave this as is once it's released. I will work on refining it a little bit to make sure we've got the correct release order. Now, let's move away from my final YouTube release, or the beginning of my YouTube release and the end of my YouTube releasing struggles. And instead, let's take a look at the Senate and how they're taking another run at ending encryption. I'm here in the UK, this is happening in the US, but it will affect people overseas. Because the fact that the companies are based in the US means they have to they are required to comply with US law first and foremost. So, the lawful access to encrypted data tracks, as well as an attempt to moderate Section 230, shows lawmakers sharpening attacks on big tech. Now, I've already read through this story actually in a bit more detail than I normally would have. So, basically, there are 2 things being done. So, Section 230, they're basically going to say that the platform that enables the publishing of it, so YouTube, would now be liable for any content released on YouTube. Now, people who think that Section 230 should be completely repealed and should not exist at all include President Donald Trump, for obvious reasoning. He's shown massive criticism for Donald Trump for it. I'm not saying very good reasoning, I'm just saying he has a reason for it. But also presumptive Democratic nominee. So I think as long as both of these people are in power, as long as either of these 2 are in power, we will probably be seeing a Section 230 repeal go through as long as the Senate holds it up. Now, it's understandable. It enables a range of bad behaviour, including stalking and revenge porn. But proposals to fix it have been incoherent and also threaten to break the internet as we know it. Now, a bill that is being proposed is the Platform Accountability and Consumer Transparency Act. Now, this basically requires that any online platform that allows you to post content reveals their moderation practices for a range of mandatory disclosures. So things like algorithmically limited content, demonetized content, completely removed content. They would all be required to roll out a formal complaint system as well. Again, these already exist on most platforms. However, they would also be required to make their decisions within 14 days. Again, normally happens, but sometimes cannot happen. Now, other bills aimed at Section 230 will allow users to report certain content moderation to the FTC. So in many ways, the PACT Act would simply require by law a bunch of things tech companies already do voluntarily. And it also means that the federal government might be able to sue a company over something on their platform. But we're not going to say whether this is a good law or a bad law. That's not our opinion. It's up to the people in Congress to do that. However, it would stop the content moderation going straight to the government, and I think that is something we have to be very careful of in terms of things like they control media. Now, whilst yes, the federal government would be able to, for example, sue people to take these things down, it does stop them from having the right to just say no. Now, this PACT Act is in direct opposition to proposals saying that, as I just said, which will allow users to report certain content moderation decisions to the government. I think that's a very dangerous proposition. See, not everyone lives in the United States, not everyone lives there, not everyone knows how to contact the FTC. And whilst the FTC can make it mandatory on their site, it's much easier if it just goes through their servers. And the fact is, as long as they are complying with law, then it should be sorted out accordingly. However, it does also require that companies that the people who are being complained about, or the people who are getting these sorts of things, understand the reasoning for it. YouTube is notorious for this. YouTube is very well known for takedowns and things that just shouldn't make any sense. So, these are definitely very possible to happen. Now, another part of the legislation is also the lawful access to encrypted data. Long story short of it is this will basically provide a legal framework to allow law enforcement officers to obtain court orders for the purpose of accessing encrypted digital communications. Now, this is what top judicial officials have sought for well over 2 decades. So it enhances the government's ability to bust through strong encryption, which can make data on a cell phone or a computer almost unreadable. Now, Attorney General Barr is definitely for this, and he's taken strong interest in antitrust cases, especially one aimed against Google, at the behest of his boss, the president, who baselessly criticized the company for censoring his views. Now, remember, I am reading these stories from The Verge. In fact, all four stories today are from The Verge. So these are not my opinions, these are me going through articles. If it is my opinion, I will say, in my opinion, before I give my opinion. I want to make that very clear. Now, the Lawful Access Bill has no Democratic sponsors as it is right now, and we're hoping it stays that way. But again, and in my opinion, I'm hoping that it stays that way. And it could erode the rule of law, as it's quite dangerous. Now, anyway, so that's today's main kind of big story that could affect literally anyone, no matter where you are. Let's go on to today's second, third, and fourth stories. I'll just go through them quickly. So, Microsoft is rumoured to be planning a second, cheaper, less powerful next-gen Xbox console, named Lockhart. Now, this is supposedly going to be the Xbox Series S. There's so many. Oh my god, this is so weird. So the Series X is the one coming out in later this year, which is supposedly going to be the world's most powerful console, and in fact is now guaranteed that, apart from with SSD, which is really annoying. But basically, a new Microsoft document was posted on Twitter, and it included references to both Lockhart and multiple Project Scarlet consoles. Project Scarlet was the name Microsoft used to reveal Xbox Series X console before officially naming, and rumours had suggested two consoles were under the broader Project Scarlet plans, Anaconda and Lockhart. Microsoft did etch an Anaconda snake into the Series X motherboard, but never publicly discussed any Lockhart plans. However, the fact that Anaconda is etched into the Xbox mainboard suggests we will definitely see something very similar to this, or possibly even the Lockhart, come out as well. It also mentions the Lockhart profiling mode. Sources familiar with Microsoft's Xbox plan tell The Verge, again thanks to The Verge for writing up all of these stories, but this special Lockhart mode is part of the Series X developer kit. Now this Lockhart mode allows people to set it into a profile that will hit the second console. There is rumoured to be 7.5 gigabytes of usable RAM, a slightly underclocked CPU speed, and around 4 teraflops of GPU performance. For comparison, the Series X includes 13.5 gigabytes of usable RAM and targets 12 teraflops of GPU performance. So definitely a decrease. And in fact, it's less than the amount of usable RAM you would be used to seeing in high-end PCs now. But it's understandable, especially for a price we could be rumoured to see it for. Now, Lockhart is expected to be positioned for 1080p or 1440p gaming, which are the two most popular resolutions used by PC gaming monitors. Now, the company can be found in the company's Xbox One operating system itself, alongside references to Anaconda and Dante. I don't know what Dante is, but Lockhart could be called the Xbox Series S. Now, Microsoft did trademark the Xbox Series branding, so Xbox Series is now trademarked, so they could say Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series is trademarked. Now, the second Xbox console will be key to Microsoft's pricing strategy. I have already committed to introducing Xbox All Access for Xbox Series X. Now, this bundle includes basically a console, Xbox Live, and Xbox Game Pass for a monthly fee. So, critical to launch the Xbox Series X, as well as just the overall generation. Now, they currently offer an Xbox One S All Digital Edition subscription for $20 a month. That includes Game Pass Ultimate. So, it's reasonable to imagine it will be priced in a similar way. And as we know, Microsoft is bundling Project X Cloud into any Game Pass services later this year. So if you have Game Pass, you will get Project X Cloud with Game Pass. Now, this is definitely looking good, and I do hope they do release this. It could be good for them. A chance to undercut Sony at a lower price point with still a very respectively powerful console. A lot of people are going to say, why would they release this? What's the point? The point is, not everyone has $400 to $600 to spend on a console. And the fact is, if a One X, this is what I mean by the confusing names, One X and Series X. If a One X is currently $400, this new one, whilst yes it is still very powerful, could be positioned at lower than that, while Series X is positioned at that $400 price point. It will probably be a bit higher than that. I'm saying 500, maybe 600 if they have to. But having a lower priced option is definitely good for people because it's still better than what you will get on your base Xbox One X, Xbox One, or One S. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. As always, I'll keep you updated on what happens with this. I expect we'll probably have a lot more media, a lot more news, at the end of, or at some point during July. Now, Amazon is acquiring self-driving car startup Zoox. Now, I'm not 100% sure of the cost of this, but it's apparently over $1 billion for a 1,000 person startup. Now, it will give Amazon control of the nearly 1,000 person startup that have been developing an electric self-driving vehicle. Rumours of this first emerged last month when it was reported that Amazon would require Zoox for less than $3.2 billion. For less than the $3.2 billion it was valued at back in July 2018. Now, Zoox is, now start quote, Zoox is working to imagine, invent and design a world-class autonomous ride-hailing experience, end quote. This was said by Amazon CEO Global Consumer Jeff Wilk. Start quote, like Amazon, Zoox is passionate about innovation and about its customers, and we're excited to help the talented Zoox team to bring their vision to reality in the years ahead. End quote. Amazon have not confirmed about paying for Zoox, but it does suggest it's one of the company's biggest investments yet in self-driving car technology, and one of its biggest purchases ever in general. Prior to the announcement, the information, which is another tech news publication company even, speculated Amazon could use the technology for autonomous deliveries such as its existing robot and drone delivery products. While the Financial Times said Amazon will use the acquisition to produce an autonomous ride-hailing fleet to compete with the likes of Alphabet's Waymo. Zoox has been developing a bi-directional vehicle with no steering wheel or discernible front or back end, allowing it to comfortably travel in either direction. It said it would enter testing in 2020, however, due to COVID-19, it's not been very possible. In April, Zoox laid off almost all of its contract workers, including backup drivers. At the time, it said it is planning to rehire them once the shelter-in-place orders are lifted. Zoox admitted that 4 of its new hires from Tesla were in possession of confidential documents from their previous employer when they joined Zoox's logistics team. The disclosure came after Zoox settled a lawsuit over the matter, in which it agreed to pay Tesla an undisclosed amount of money and perform an audit to make sure no other employees had confidential Tesla information. Now, the Zoox team will continue to be led by current CEO H. Evans and CTO Jeffrey Levinson. Sorry if I got the names wrong. Financial Times previously reported that Amazon will let Zoox run as an independent subsidiary after the acquisition, similar to how Twitch is currently operating. Amazon is expected to have to invest billions to bring Zoox's vehicles to market. Now, last year, the e-commerce giant took part in a funding round for Aurora Innovation, which was held by the former startup of Google's self-driving car product. They also heavily invested in Rivian, another electric vehicle startup. So that's kind of today's first story. Let's go on to our last story quickly. That's the Google Pixel 4a. Now, the FCC, this is basically just a new FCC authorization, and they just authorized a new Google phone dubbed G025, which is rumored to be the Google Pixel 4a. Now, this could be impressive. This could be being revealed very soon. I suggest the more affordable Pixel 4a is near. Now, it's not a given that the Google phone authorized by the FCC is the Pixel 4a, nor that Google is going to announce it anytime soon. However, the G025J can now be sold in the United States, and typically FCC don't authorize phones until shortly before they're official. Google doesn't make lots of phones, and it seems likely that since G020 meant Google Pixel 4, a G025 would be some sort of R7 successor. Now, we can clean one other thing from the FCC filings as well, which is that they certainly won't have Google's solar range sensor for quicker face unlocks and motion sensor gestures. Now, these millimeter wave radio frequencies would have to be disclosed in the FCC docs, and they're not. So, as they showed up in the Pixel 4 SEC's filings as 58 to 63.5 GHz. So, previous leaks suggested the Pixel 4a would have solely, but it's not clear whether the sensor would have even lived. It's definitely, expected to not live, and I wouldn't be expecting it to have. Now, in terms of what we actually have so far on it, we don't really have that much. We've got a real 5.81 inch display, a processor, a battery, a camera, and a reserve for headphone jack and fingerprint reader as well. These fingerprint readers would supposedly still be on the back. I definitely think that would be a smart move to go for a more affordable phone over, say, facial recognition. Sure, have it accessible through features just by using the normal camera, but don't have it as the main option. That is all for today's top stories. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode. My name is Luke, and this is Download Digital World. Again, I personally am psyched. All episodes will be releasing at 10 o'clock today. Again, if they don't come out in alphabetical order, I can't tell how they're going to come out. I've been trying to figure it out. I just can't figure it out. I had to kind of just slide them all in to be uploaded at the exact same time. And I did try and do it in a very ordered manner, but I don't know if that's going to work. If it doesn't, then I will have a backup plan, and I will also create a specific playlist, as I don't believe there is actually a way to reorder releases. So, yeah. So definitely, if you're sick of listening to this on whatever you're listening to it on now and you want to give YouTube a shot, go ahead and give YouTube a shot. There's no extras in there at the moment as is right now, but maybe in future there will be some extras. Also, on the Download Digital World podcast website, or YouTube channel, I should say. Oops, small spoiler there. Yes, the website will be coming at some point. But on the YouTube channel, there will be tutorials coming up for things like macOS on Linux, and also just some tutorials for how to allow your computer, your iPad, and your Android phone to completely link up and share at least websites between the three. This is the Download Digital World. My name is Luke. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. And on YouTube.